Sydney seems to have a very selective memory as to how she acted when she was on Love Island only 2 years ago. Love Island Australia Season 6 Episode 7 on Itvx, and the bombshells have entered the villa. Bombshell Steph is getting to know the last bombshell Stephanie, and she doesn't even know what's going on. At the moment she's paired up with Indigo, but she likes Zane, who she knew and went with outside the house, and she's like, well, I'm not usually into more than one guy at a time, but now she's speaking to Steph, and she also likes him. God, it's a high school. Sydney's getting to know all the guys, and it's as if every time she speaks to somebody, she's like, oh, I laughed all the way through that conversation, that was good. Oh, he made me laugh, that was different. Like, all the guys are making her laugh. They got a text telling them that they were going to play a game. They had to get dressed up and throw a ball into a cup, and whoever's cup the ball landed in, they went into the cupboard with them and they could do whatever they want. Nico was in the cupboard with Sydney and they had a kiss, and Hannah was raging. Like, she has got such a jealous streak. It's unbelievable. But, to be fair, when she was going off her head, I thought, oh, we'll soon see what happens when she gets pulled into the cupboard and see what she does. But when she went in there, she was just having a carry-on, and they were kidding on, they were doing stuff, and then she says to the guy, oh, kid on, you're sucking my toes, because he's got a foot fetish. So she didn't actually do anything wrong when she went in there, so she wasn't being a hypocrite. Em got chose to go into the cupboard, I can't remember who with, and she was properly kissing them, and then when she came out, she said out loud, oh, he was a really good kisser. So she's paired up with Taylor, and he wasn't too happy about it. Taylor then got chose to go into the cupboard with Sydney, and he was like, oh, I just want to be respectful, like, I'll just give you a kiss on the cheek, like I just want to talk or whatever. And I was like, that's actually so sweet. But then Sydney had the audacity to say, oh, some of the guys in here don't know how to have fun, it's just a game, it doesn't mean anything. It's pointing in the direction of the funhouse. And I was like, that wasn't her attitude when she was in Love Island USA. If the guy that she was paired up with so much as looked at somebody, she was going fucking mental. So it's alright for her all of a sudden because she doesn't like anybody now, but as soon as she starts to get feelings for somebody, she'll soon change her tune. Out of all the Love Islands I've watched, she is one of the most possessive, obsessed people I've ever seen on it, along with Nicole from Love Island UK this year. Indigo is currently paired up with Sophie, and he thought, oh, I better go and chat to her in case this is the last chance I get, in case she gets stole away. So she was sitting talking to somebody, and he went up and says, oh, can I have a chat for a minute? And then the people walked away, and he was like, oh, I just wanted to give you a kiss. And she was like, okay, right, it was quite awkward. And then he walked away, and he was talking to the guys, and he thought that this was just such a smooth move. And the guys were like, oh yeah, that takes balls, that's confident, like she'll love that, like you're marking your territory. But then when she was talking to the girls, she was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, he just asked me if we could have a chat and then he kissed me. And then the girls were like, oh, I think he's marking his territory. Like, FYI, marking your territory is not a good thing, not to me anyway. So she's kind of like, oh, I don't think it gave me the act, like I don't think I really minded it. But it's just so bizarre to watch, like, the guy thinking that he's done the best move ever, and she's sitting there thinking, what was the thought process there? After the game, Zane went to talk with Sydney, and Xanthi was in hysterics. And actually, she was crying. I was playing the computer at the time, and I heard this noise, and it sounded more like she was laughing. It wasn't until I turned around and looked at it that I seen that she was upset. So then he says he found out she was crying, and he says, oh, I better not go and speak to her because I don't know what's caused it. I don't know if it's because I've spoke to Sydney. I don't know if it's me. Like, I don't know if it's pointing out the obvious here, but if I didn't know what was wrong with somebody, I'd probably go and ask. The new bombshells found out that their special power was to be able to couple up with anybody at any time, and Mimi took Steph to the side and she was like, you need to spice up the villa, it's a bit boring. And he was saying, oh, do you want me to, like, make a statement, or do you want me to give you attention that you deserve and all that? And she's like, oh, I would, right? So then they decided to couple up, and Steph chose Mimi, and Sydney chose Zane. So this sent Xanthi off. She was like, I don't want to be here, I hate it here. And okay, she's upset, she's been paired up with a guy for 4 days. It is a bit extreme. Like, it really does remind me of high school. Obviously, emotions are amplified, and I say this all the time. You're in there, you've got no entertainment, and you're just constantly concentrating on trying to speak to people and get to know them. And actually, in Love Island, it's not as if they get to sit and talk to each other all day and night. They only get located times where they get to mingle. Like, they have meals and stuff separate. So, I don't know if it's just to make it easier to edit or what, but it's not as if they just get to sit with each other 24/7. So they do have limited time. So even though she's been with him for 4 days, she's probably not even been with him for that many hours. So now the bombshells have chosen who they want to be with for the moment, and there's a new bombshell coming in, Tommy. There is a look that is very popular in Australia, a mullet and a moustache. It's not for me, but please let me know in the comments if that is something that you're into. I don't even like facial hair at all. I don't like mullets or facial hair at all. But it can't only be popular in Australia. I mean, there must be a lot of people out there who look at this and go, oh yes, bit of that. Let me know what you think in the comments. After this episode, I actually think that my favourite person in the house is Taylor, because he went into the cupboard and he's not paired up, but he was even saying, I'm trying to be loyal, and it wasn't even about being boring, it was just about him trying to be a nice guy. And in these shows, guys will go in there and they'll want to be a nice guy, and then the women will laugh at them like, oh, why is he not kissing people? Why is he not getting involved in the games? But then, if they do get involved in the games, he's all the fucking dicks under the sun. Like, men can't win. I actually didn't really like Mimi from early on because of the way she was speaking to Zayn and Dylan, and she was like being very condescending. But then when she was talking to Steph in this episode, and she was like, oh, I can't take you seriously because you've got sparkles on your face, I was like, sick. So anyway, watch this space. Sydney's saying tonight, oh, nobody's fun, it's just a game, it doesn't mean anything. Just you wait until somebody catches her eye, or she gets the slightest wee bit of feelings for them. You'll see a different side to her. Let me know what you thought of tonight's episode, and I'll see you again. Bye!